Hello Moonbeams and welcome back to my channel, Mystic Moon School. This is Donna Cass and I am here to discuss with you this week the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse that is happening on September 17th, 2024. And we are officially in eclipse season. In my last video, I discussed with you at the Virgo new moon that was like the first gate leading us down the corridor into eclipse season. It's kind of opening up the energies. And the other reason for that really is not only because it's the new moon just before eclipse season, but because that new moon was in Virgo, and now we are having a Pisces full moon, and these are sister signs, Virgo and Pisces. And so they are connected, they complement one another. They at times seem like maybe they are opposites, but really they are on the same spectrum, okay? But they just have a different focus. And so before we get into the astrology, I want to talk about this Pisces Virgo axis. I want to talk about what these energies really are about, and then we'll get more specific into why this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is so important, why we may be feeling like we are in an in-between right now. Some people call it a transitional space or a liminal space. It's kind of like we know we're done with something or some part of us or something in our life, but we don't exactly know what's next. It's that in-between phase. And so we will get more into that. But I am calling this video Dissolving into the Ethers and the First Glimpses of Our New Paths. And I will explain in more detail why I have named the video this. But for now, I want to please ask you if you are interested in learning astrology, in understanding how the moon, as she moves through the different signs, how I explain the signs and the houses and how this affects you in your everyday daily life, then please hit the subscribe button and give it a like or a thumbs up. And if you are listening to the video and something resonates for you, please drop a comment. It really helps with the algorithms so that this video can be found by more and more people who can really grow and learn. Okay, thank you for that little public service announcement. And now let's get into it. So first I'd like to discuss this Virgo-Pisces axis and give you a larger context for what is really happening in the cosmos and where we are in all of this. So for the last, I would say, year, maybe a little bit more, the nodal axis, the moon moving towards the north node and or with the sun and or to the south node, has been in the signs in the axis of Aries and Libra. And back in April, we had our last set of eclipses. And if you think back to April, I have a feeling that was a pretty big month for you in your life in some way, shape, or form, because that's what eclipses do. They are the fated, destined points along our life's path that really truly want to align us to the trajectory that our souls have signed up for in this life. That is the way that I look at the eclipses. That is how I interpret them. And so oftentimes when eclipse season comes around, we're meeting new people out of the blue, right? Where offers are just coming out of the woodwork. We're having big things happen in our life, breakups or makeups, or just big decisions are just landing in our lap. And this is really all, right, as I was saying, to keep us on the path that our souls have chosen for this life and bringing in those cooperative components to help us along the way. Okay, so Virgo, Pisces. So we've been in the eclipses of Aries and Libra, but now this is the first foray, this is the first glimpse at what the next 18 months is going to be around the eclipses, what the North Node will be pulling us towards both individually and collectively, and what the South Node is wanting us to release and let go of. So for the past year or so, the North Node has been in Aries. Aries is all about the self, the independent self, the autonomous self, the in its highest expressions, the righteous warrior, the warrior that fights for good, right? And that is an advocate for those who cannot advocate for themselves. And Aries is really good on their own. And the focus is on the self. Libra, however, across the sky from Aries, the sister sign, is about relationships and the other. And in its highest expressions, Libra is about balanced, reciprocal relationships, fair and just relations, in right relationship with all. In other words, it's not simply just your significant other, but it's really truly, from a higher perspective, it is being and living in right relation with all, with the earth, with other humans, of course, with animals, with our thoughts, with our actions, with our values. I mean, you get where I'm going, right? So it's really, Libra is really about being in right relation where things are fair and balanced, where there is respect and reciprocity, and there's give and take, and that there's not one side that is always giving, and then there's not one side that's always taking and taking and taking, okay? That there is a beautiful synergy of a balance. Yes, that's the other word that I wanted to come up with there for Libra is balance, right? The scales. And so recently I was talking with someone, I was doing their chart, and they had really prominent Libra. And we discussed how Libra and balance is dynamic, right? It's not like, okay, I've balanced it and now it's balanced for life. Like, I'm good, check, done, move on to the next. Balance is something that is constantly changing. We are going in balance and out of balance, and in balance and out of balance. And so there's a constant adjustment that needs to be made. And the more that we are aware of that, right, and we kind of get a centeredness, oftentimes I think about a pendulum and how, the pendulum really swings very fiercely with a lot of force from one side to the other. But then as that force begins to lessen and dissipate, the pendulum swings less to the extremes and comes more in the center until it is finally still. And so that's what balance can actually feel like for a lot of us, right? It's a stillness. It's a centeredness. And so if balance is something that seems elusive to you, or you're always working at trying to create more balance in your life or in certain areas of your life, maybe think about that visualization of the pendulum and coming to a center, a stopping point, a quietness, and find the ways in which for you, uniquely you, find balance in your life. The other thing that we talked about in this reading in terms of the balance and the imbalance with Libra energies is if balance is such a dynamic thing, right? And so we're always moving from imbalanced states to balanced states, then maybe we should start to reframe how we think about imbalance and not dread it so much and not feel so uncomfortable when things feel imbalanced, because it could be a lot of our life, right? I mean, it could be a lot of the time that things go imbalanced. And so instead of fighting it, instead of resisting that and creating all of these stories and these feelings around how awful this is, maybe what we do is we say, okay, so I'm feeling some imbalance here. What is this showing me? How can I stop white knuckling it and pushing so hard against that brick wall that is the imbalance right now? And how can I ease into it? How can I accept it? And what is it really here to show me and teach me? And when I get clarity on that, then I can start to take some aligned action towards more balance. And that was a really interesting conversation because, whether you have prominent Libra or not, we all live life on the spectrum of balance and imbalance, right? I mean, this is just part of being human. So I thought that was a really interesting way to reframe it. So now we are still going, we're not done with this Libra Aries axis in the eclipses. Okay, we're not done. This will be going until March 2025. However, this coming week on the 17th, we have the first glimpse of this new axis that the nodes are going to move into Pisces, the north node, and Virgo, the south node. So we will be eventually shifting for good next April again. Okay? So we will be ending the Aries Libra nodal axis come March 2025. So we still have some work to do in that area. So that's really more work needs to be done on the self and the other, right? And this axis between Aries and Libra is about finding that balance between being yourself, advocating for yourself, taking for yourself. How many of you cringed when I said that? Yes, taking for yourself. That's important. We need to take for ourselves sometimes, right? So many of us out there, we are givers, but it has to be in right balance, right? And so it is that axis of knowing when to give and when to take, when to advocate for self, when to advocate for another, and being in right relation, both with yourself and everything and everyone really truly in your experience. So we will be still working on these energies, but this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is the foray. It is the first of this new nodal axis of eclipses that we will be working with from March or end of March into April 2025, all the way into 2027, another 18 months. Okay, so now let's talk about the Pisces Virgo axis. And what is this all about? Because this full moon lunar eclipse is planting a seed for us, actually. It's a beautiful seed, beautiful, ethereal, cosmic, spiritual seed that is being planted in all of our hearts and is going to bloom slowly but surely all the way into 2027. And so the Virgo Pisces axis is, there are two main ways that I look at this axis. First, in a more mundane way, is the health axis. Virgo is the grounded earth sign, and she can really represent our bodies, more specifically even our digestive system, but certainly the physical health, whereas Pisces is more of the emotional, spiritual health. And so we can look at this axis as the mind, body, spirit, and I guess I would say the mind, heart, body, spirit. But that's interesting because, and this is just kind of popping into my thoughts right now, but is the mind and the heart really so separate? Think about it. When you have a thought about something, don't you also have simultaneously a feeling about that? If you think about, for example, someone who brought you flowers out of the blue, a friend stopped by and brought you flowers out of the blue, and you think about that, don't you also get a beautiful feeling about it? So obviously I'm digressing here a little bit, but it's the mind and the heart are really connected. And so we can say mind, body, spirit on this axis. And I think that includes the heart space and our feelings as well. And so Pisces is that water sign, which equates to our emotions. But Pisces is also I would say probably the most spiritual of all the signs in terms of consciousness, represents unity, consciousness, where we are all one, really tapping into the mystical, the ethereal, source energy in its most highest beautiful expression. And so while Virgo is the grounded earth, like, okay, well, Virgo could be the beautiful grounded rituals that we do that help us to connect to our higher self, Pisces. That's how I like to think of these two as they work together. They're not really opposites. They are just different energies on the same spectrum, and so they manifest in different ways. And then the other way I like to look at this axis is the material world, Virgo, and the spiritual world, Pisces. The human self, Virgo, and our higher self, or our spiritual being, Pisces. Of course, there's many different names for these, and so you use whatever names you are most resonate for you, but I think you understand the way I'm describing it. And so when we are about to now move into this beautiful axis of our health, our emotional, spiritual, physical health, moving into this axis of, yes, the material world, but also the spiritual world. And then I'm going to add one more really important word that I feel that both Virgo and Pisces share in equal measure, is intuition. And so intuition is going to be really at the forefront for all of us as we begin to move further and further into this Pisces-Virgo axis in the coming years. So when I think about this on a large collective scale, I see this as a dissolving of old conditioned beliefs that have kept us separated from one another. Because remember, I said Pisces is that unity consciousness where we are all one. We are all from source energy. We all are spiritual beings living a human life. And the only thing that separates us are our judgments and our categories, right? And our biases. I mean, we're not really different. We're really all the same at our core. And so there is a dissolving that is going to be happening, I believe, for each and every one of us. And we're going to get into it more specifically for you when I go through the signs and which houses this is playing out for you at this first Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. But remember, each and every one of us on the planet, yes, we have our own individual consciousness, we have our own individual experiences, but that is not in a vacuum. Every one of us, the shifts that we make in our own lives, in our own consciousness, ripples out and affects the collective consciousness. And ultimately, this is how humanity evolves. This is how we've been evolving for all of time, really. And so this dissolving into the ethers that I'm calling this this podcast, this is a dissolving of all of that conditioning, the parameters, the lines in the sand, the beliefs, the limiting beliefs that we all hold, whether that is based on how we were brought up in our own individual families, in our culture, in our religions, in our education. I mean, on and on and on. And so clearly there are many, many layers to this, right? But I want to remind you that Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac and also represents endings. And so while this is the beginning of a new axis and Pisces is going to be the north node going forward over these next few years, the north node is always leading us to our next level, right? It is leading us into growth. It is leading us somewhere that is new to us, that we've never been before. And so we can have some resistance around that because it's not the comfortable and the familiar. It's like taking those first few steps in the dark, and you don't really know what that path looks like. And so what I would like to also remind everyone that Pisces is surrender. And I just want to talk about that word for a moment and what it really means, at least to me. Surrender is not the white flag waving in the war zone where you are now going to be a prisoner of war. You give up, right? You give up the fight and now someone else is in control. Not in that negative context. Surrender is a letting go, a giving up, yes, but a giving up to God. Have you ever heard that expression, let go and let God? So, and I don't mean this in a religious way. I'm not a religious person at all. I mean that whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, source, spirit, your higher self, your angels and guides, whatever it is, the cosmos, source energy, there is something bigger at play and at work that is always loving you, guiding you. And when we hit a brick wall in life, metaphorically, hopefully. And there's just a lot of resistance, and we're not able to do the thing that we're setting out to do, right? Or we're in a relationship and it's just, you just keep hitting wall after wall with the other person, and you just don't know how to get around that wall. You keep trying to achieve something in your own personal life, and it's just not flowing. These are the moments where you need to let go, you need to surrender, and you say, God, Spirit, Source, please take over the wheel for a little while, because I don't have the answer, okay? But I know you do. So I'm going to stop pushing against the brick wall that is just not moving, and I'm going to trust that if I can just let go for a little while, get into a happy place, maybe ease up on the hold and the attachment, because Pisces can be quite detached, right? Like just flowing, beautiful, flowing, flowing, flowing. And just go with the flow, right? Detach enough so that you can just go with the flow of how things are going to unfold for you. Not only are you going to feel so much better, but the solution is going to come with clarity. And so this is part of what we are all going to be learning on in as we move into the Pisces Virgo axis for good starting in 2025. But this is the first glimpse of this, okay? The first glimpse on this new path that we're going to all be embarking upon. And so you may have a strong intuition at this time. You're getting these intuitive hits about something in your life. Just maybe write it down, okay? Write down Pisces full moon lunar eclipse, September 17th, 2024. I'm getting these hunches about blah, blah, blah. I'm getting these intuitive hits. I'm getting the feeling, right? Just write it down. It'll be really fascinating to look back on it and see if you were right about it, if it did come to play out in a certain way for you. But this could play out in any number of ways, and we're going to get into that really soon when I when I go through each and every sign. Okay. So I had to, now I know this picture up on the screen is not clear, but because I was driving, and shame on me for taking a picture while I was driving, but I'm sorry guys, I could not resist. This was literally 2 days ago, before I'm recording this podcast, and I look out to the left of my car window and I see this big truck and it says Lunar Eclipse Transportation on the side of the truck. And I was like, I was alone in the car and I was like, you are kidding me. Like, I cannot get over it. It's so I just wanted to post this and share with you because the synchronicities and the signs may be really jumping out of the woodwork at you during this time as we are approaching this eclipse, and then over the next couple of weeks while we're in the eclipse season before the following eclipse on October 2nd. And so just honor your intuition, honor your higher self speaking to you and showing you the signs and sending those beautiful magical synchronicities, and enjoy them and laugh and have fun and thank the universe for sending them and saying, please send more because this is so fun. I love this. And so actually, I also actually love that it says lunar eclipse transportation, because I feel like we are being transported into a higher realm at this Pisces lunar eclipse. We are getting a glimpse of our higher selves, our path ahead, our new perspectives, our new level of spiritual mastery. And so just be open to the transport for you, right? Where you are being transported to. Okay. So yes, that's me. Alrighty, so I would like to get into the 12 signs for you. Now, this is based on, I read signs as a whole sign chart, and so that means one sign to one house. And I'm going to base this on your rising sign. And so if you are not aware of your birth time, then you don't really know your rising time. Your rising sign. And so you can listen for your sun sign, okay, which is your birth date, which is the sign that you know that you are. And there will still be messages there for you. I also recommend that if you do know your chart and you know your moon sign, you can listen for your moon sign as well. I just feel that that's going to be a more internal energy. Before we get into all 12 signs, I just also want to reiterate for you that intuition, endings, like what's dissolving within you or within your life, what spiritual insights are coming to you at this time, and what are you being kind of guided to surrender and just let go of at this time. These are going to be, I feel, the main energies that are going to show up for you in the different houses as I go through them. Okay, and I will reiterate that when I get to each house, but I just kind of want to give you the overview. Oh, there goes my phone, dingy ding ding. Okay, so sorry about that. There is also something else that I'd like to point out about this lunar eclipse and the aspects that are taking place with the moon at the time of the lunar eclipse. Okay, so the supportive aspects are that Neptune, which is the modern ruling planet of Pisces, is conjunct the moon. And Neptune is the planet of spirituality and unconditional love and imagination and magic. And so I just really feel that if you can set the intention at this Pisces lunar eclipse to really tap into the magic that is all around us all the time, right? That you want to experience more of it, that you want to see the beautiful rainbows and the butterflies, and you want to play with your manifestations. You want to set the intention that, you're going to see, I don't know, 3 butterflies over the course of the day. Play with this. Have fun with it. Tap into that inner child and use your imagination. This is all beautiful Neptune energy. Really, if you can, take some time to meditate at this lunar eclipse on this day, and maybe the day before, the day after even, and just tap into your heart space. Tap into that unconditional love that is coming at us all the time energetically, and just be open to receiving it. It is very, very strong at the time of this Pisces lunar eclipse. The other beautiful aspect that is happening with the moon is that it is sextile, which is very supportive energy from the planet Uranus. And Uranus, while Neptune is higher love, Uranus is the higher mind. It is the divine mind. It is those epiphanies and those downloads that you get. And so definitely, if you can tap into that water energy, take a shower or a bath, and set the intention to be open to receiving messages through the water, through the consciousness of the water, from your higher self. Absolutely, you will have some beautiful insights coming to you at this Pisces lunar eclipse. Now, some of the more challenging aspects that are happening with the moon are that she will be squaring Jupiter. And so Jupiter is the great benefic, though. Okay, so even when there is a square with Jupiter, really we just have to watch out for overdoing things. That's all. Because Jupiter expands everything. And so we just don't want to overdo, right? Now, I will say, while we're talking about overdoing things, Pisces can be substances because Pisces likes to play in the liminal space, right? Play in the ethereal realms, those spiritual realms. And so sometimes we will take substances to help us get into that space. And so with this square to Jupiter, I'm just going to put out a little warning to be cognizant, right? And to not overdo it. Take it easy, and don't overindulge. That can be a word when the moon is squaring Jupiter, overindulgence. So just be aware of that. And then the other challenging aspect, less challenging, is that the moon will be what's called quincunx, the planet Venus, of love and self-love and relationships and beauty. And so something may, come up for you that maybe is playing out in your relationships. That will also depend on what house this is showing up for you in your chart. But I would say with this kind of faded eclipse, and there's a hard aspect to Venus, don't get a haircut. Like, don't try, don't do anything aesthetic to yourself that is going to be like permanent, right? Or semi-permanent. Like, just take it easy around this eclipse. I think overall, just stay centered in your own calm place, whatever that is for you. These eclipses are always the times to get out our self-care box and use all the things, right? Like, make sure you stock up on your favorite tea, and make sure you have enough Epsom salts for your bath or your foot bath, and make sure that you have your beautiful candles for your rituals, or for just giving yourself that sense of calm and serenity, whatever it is for you. Making sure you carve out some time to go for a walk or be in nature in some way. Whatever it is for you, just let's get out that box of self-love, self-care, and make sure it's stocked up, okay? So that we can really partake over this week. Okay. Just checking, is there anything else I want to say? Of course, there's always so many other aspects that are happening in the sky, but I'm going to keep it tight to the moon, and I'd like to really get into the 12 signs and where this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is showing up for you in your chart based on your rising sign. Okay, so we are going to begin with Aries. And for my Aries rising, beautiful people, this is happening, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening for you in your 12th house. So what is the 12th house all about? Well, first of all, Pisces rules the 12th house. So this is the house of spirituality. It is the house of meditation and imagination. It is the house of things that are hidden, that are not in plain view, right? They could be secrets even, because those are hidden oftentimes until they are revealed, right? The 12th house can be some form of isolation. The 12th house can be hospitals, because that is a physical manifestation. Remember, I said Pisces Virgo is the axis of health. And so it could play out in a very material way. You could be working in hospitals. You could be visiting someone in a hospital. Hopefully you yourself will not be in a hospital, or your loved ones, of course. But that is always a possibility with the 12th house. But really, truly, for most of us out there, it is really about getting quiet, because the 12th house is really also about the subconscious and our unconscious patterns. And so something may come up to the surface for you, a memory. You may have something come up from your subconscious that is ready to be seen, that is ready to be perhaps healed. I would say most likely. I mean, these things don't come up to torture us. They come up to be healed. They come up to be released. And so for my Aries rising, I would say, if you can, really carve out some alone time, which I know you need anyway. And so really make it extra special alone time over the few days, I would say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, especially, and then just follow your own intuition if you're feeling you still need that quiet time, that alone time for the rest of the week, as much as you can, or at least knowing that at least a certain time during each day, you're going to have a little respite. You're going to have a little quiet time, alone time, all to yourself. Maybe if you work with others and you're usually having lunch with others, maybe you want to just have lunch on your own. That's okay. Like, whatever you need, this is going to be really supportive for you, because that's what the 12th house is wanting. It's wanting you to isolate a little and just be in your own energy and drop into your heart space. Because remember, Pisces is that unconditional love. And connect with your higher self or your angels and your guides. Maybe do a little ritual alone for yourself, lighting a candle, pulling an oracle card, anything that you find to be nurturing or comforting for you as a spiritual practice, whatever that is for you. Listening to a guided meditation, right? Or really, truly anything, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so that is the 12th house for my Aries rising. Now for my Taurus rising, this is happening for you in the 11th house. The Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is bringing some faded energy to you with your friendships, your groups and communities that you are involved with, or perhaps you will be getting those first seeds of a new friendship or a new group or community that you're going to be involved with over the next couple of years. You could be joining a new cohort on a course that you're taking, or you're joining an organization, or you're networking, and so you're meeting different groups of people. Or it could very much be friendships, right? You're being introduced to a new friend group or just a new friend. I would also say the 11th house is your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes. And so, you know what? Dream big. Hope for the best at this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. Be open to seeing the signs and the synchronicities coming into your experience. If you meet somebody new and you click and you hit it off, I want you to remember this podcast and say, oh, wait, this is what Donna was talking about. I just met this new person and we really hit it off. And wow, I wonder if they're going to be sticking around for the ride, right? For the next couple years. Because remember, eclipses are these faded times. And so those cooperative components, those shifts happen in our life at the time of the eclipses. And so whatever your hopes and dreams are, write them down. Imagine them. sit in a nice quiet place and close your eyes and visualize whatever that hope or that dream is and feel the feelings. Make it real for yourself in your mind's eye, and you will help manifest it into your reality. Okay, so that is the 11th house for my Taurus risings. For Gemini rising, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 10th house. The 10th house is the most public house in the chart. It is where your career is. It is your public sense of self. So, like, not all of us have a career out of the home. And when I say out of the home, I don't mean like you work remotely. I mean like I was a stay-at-home mom for many, many years. That was my career, right? But so if you don't have a career, let's say outside of your family, it's your public self that people know you as. So I always like to use the example when my kids were little. I was, the Girl Scout leader, and, and the helper for the soccer team, and this, that, and the other. And so that's how people knew me in my public self. And so that is what this 10th house is being, this is what's being illuminated for you. This is where this faded energy from this eclipse is shining for you. So in your career, what intuitive hits are you getting about your career or your public persona now? What, if anything, are you being asked to surrender and let go of? Maybe there is a new path ahead for you in your career, and you may not know what it is yet, and that's okay. That's part of this process, right? But we have to trust. And we can't be afraid to let go just because we don't know what's coming next. And so that can be really challenging when it comes to our work and our career. But the more that you're able to surrender when things are not clicking and happening, the more you're able to open up to that new coming in. So don't push, don't try to figure it all out right now. Just be open to getting those intuitive hits, meeting those cooperative components. Maybe a new offer is going to come in. Maybe you're going to meet someone who is going to be a link in that next step for you. We don't know yet, but it's okay. That's part of the fun. That's part of the adventure. So have fun with it and be open and trust your intuition about where these next steps in your public life or your career path and your ambitions are leading you next. So that is for my Gemini risings, the 10th house. Now for my Cancer risings, this is happening for you, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse in your 9th house. And the 9th house is all about expansion. It is expansion through learning, through not gaining more knowledge, through your beliefs. Okay, it's expanding by expanding your belief system, not just holding on to the things that you've always believed in since you were a kid, right? That's not what the 9th house is about. The 9th house wants us to always expand, expand, expand. And so with this Pisces energy here, what beliefs are dissolving for you now, right? What knowledge did you once have that is just no longer applicable maybe? You're ready to just let that go. It served its purpose. You're ready to expand into the next level of whatever your next belief system is, because the 9th house is also our consciousness. And so this is a beautiful combination of Pisces letting go and ending, and 9th house ruled by Jupiter and Sagittarius expanding, expansion. So really, they're not really it's not usually ever one or the other, right? It's usually both at the same time. Simultaneously, we're not even realizing that when something's ending, something's beginning. When something is contracting, something is also expanding. And so whatever may be ending for you now, even if you don't know what the next level is, that next belief, that next bit of knowledge, that next level, it's okay. Just be open. It will come in for you. Remember, this Pisces lunar eclipse is the first seeds that we are planting. It will grow over time. So enjoy the ride and be patient. Okay. That is for my Cancer risings. This is happening in your 9th house. So now for my Leo risings. This Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 8th house. Now the 8th house is also the house of endings. It is the house of death and rebirth. And that can be literal or it can be metaphorical. And I don't want to scare anybody out there. I just like to be honest about how things play out. And so in each of these areas of life, and the truth is endings are a part of life, right? We know this. And with this being a Pisces lunar eclipse, we have some double endings here, okay? We're really just done with something. If you are a Leo rising, this is big endings happening for you. But remember, there's beautiful rebirth on the other side of this. Now, if you don't know quite yet what that rebirth is, it's okay. Trust your intuition. Drop into your heart space, okay? Speak to your angels and your guides and your higher self and say, please guide me, love me, protect me during this time because I don't know what the next steps are, but I know that you do. So send me the signs. Send me the synchronicities. Show me that I'm not alone. And I promise you will see them. This 8th house is also a very spiritual karmic house. And so you could be done with old patterns within you or within a relationship with another or others even. And you could really be sensing your intuition is telling you, you know what, I'm done. I know that I'm done with this and I'm ready to release it. I'm ready to let go and I don't really know what's next, but I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust that it's going to be beautiful. It's always working out for me, right? What does Abraham Hicks always say? Everything's always working out for me. Just that is your mantra, okay? And so perhaps, though, 8th house is also psychology and all forms of divination and spirituality and the mysticism. And so you could be really tapping into your intuition and your higher self. Take some time to meditate and get creative and do a beautiful ritual for yourself where you are connecting with those higher realms and receiving the beautiful messages that are here for you now. Okay, so for my Leo risings, that is all happening in your 8th house. Okay, so now we are here at the Virgo rising. And remember, Virgo is across the axis from Pisces. And so this is happening for you in your 7th house. Virgo risings, this is happening. You have Pisces in your 7th house. Okay, so this Pisces lunar eclipse is bringing the fated relational dynamics, person, perhaps contracts of some kind into your life at this lunar eclipse. Remember, this is fated energy. So for all of my Virgo risings, you might meet that person now. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be, a home run right out of the park and you're off to the races, but you might have that first meeting. They might just come into your experience in like baby steps right now, right? Because remember, as I said at the top of the video, we still have the Aries Libra energies that we're still working through. We're not fully in the Pisces Virgo axis yet. This is the first glimpse. And so with this happening in your 7th house, this could be a romantic partner, a future spouse. This could be someone that you are going to be in a contractual agreement with. So it could be a business partner. So just be really open and aware to who you're meeting this week, who you're being introduced to, or who you just happen to meet, or who happens to reach out to you through LinkedIn or send you an email or whatever it may be, right? On a dating app, if that's part of your experience. Or perhaps, you meet a friend for lunch and then they want to introduce you to someone, right? Like, who knows? It could play out in any gazillion number of ways. Just be open. Just be open. And if you're already in a one-to-one romantic relationship, you could be really sensing that you're at the end of this relationship. Because remember, Pisces energy is about endings, dissolving, letting go, surrendering, and releasing. And so if that is your truth, that you are feeling like this has run its course and I'm ready for this ending, then just speak that out to the universe. Feel into your intuition if that feels right for you. And lead with compassion, which is also another Pisces word. Okay, so for my Virgo risings, that is happening. This lunar eclipse is happening in your 7th house. And for my Libra risings, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 6th house. And I'd like to remind you that the 6th house is ruled by Virgo. And so you're getting an interesting layer here of the Virgo energies, which is part of this Pisces Virgo axis. And so this might be showing up for you, something in your physical health. It could be something that you're just done with, right? Pisces energy is about endings. It's about completing a cycle. Maybe you're done with a habit that you know is not healthy for you. Maybe you are reaching a new level of connecting your body and your mind or your spirit, right? Maybe you're going to start taking some yoga classes and you're going to tap into the meaning of yoga, right? Which is union. Right? It's the union of the mind, the body, the spirit. And so with this happening, this Pisces lunar eclipse happening in your 6th house, it is your everyday routines. It is you being of service to others. And it is your physical health and habits. It's also your pets. And so, yes, it can be a higher perspective of things. It can be a releasing or a letting go in any of these areas. You want to tap into your intuition. You want to trust your intuition now at this time. If you're feeling like this is something physical in your physical body, trust your intuition and make the doctor's appointment, right? Follow through. Whatever intuitive hits you're getting now about your daily life, your routines, your pets even, and being in service to others, you want to follow those intuitive messages at this time. And if you feel like it's time for something to complete and to end, trust that that is right on time, that Pisces energy is helping you and supporting you to complete or release or finish that cycle at this time of this eclipse. Okay, and you also just want to be open to, whatever is new for you in these areas. If a friend says to you, hey, I just joined this new whatever exercise class. I really love it. Do you want to try it? Be open. Try it, because that falls into your physical health, right? You might really love it, and this could be your new thing. So just be open to what's showing up for you this week, and if it feels intuitively, if it feels good to you, like it might be good, then give it a shot, give it a try. Because again, my Libra risings, this is happening in your 6th house. Okay, so now for my Scorpio risings. This Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 5th house of creativity, of romance and fun, of taking risks. The 5th house is also your children, and if you have children, and also your inner child. And so for my Scorpio risings, you might meet a new romantic partner. You might have a new creative idea or a new creative project come into your experience. You may have some opportunities to really tap into your inner child and do something fun and light and enjoyable, joyful. There may be some spiritual component to this because of the Pisces energy. It could be, if you are already in a romantic relationship, that is ending for you, because Pisces is about endings, right? But it doesn't, you have to trust your intuition on that. Remember, I said this is one of the words. Intuition is very important for this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. So trust your intuition. If you've been feeling like something is kind of run its course, and you're done with that, then, really listen to that. Really listen to that intuitive voice speaking to you at this time. But if that's not the case for you, it could really be that, I'm done. I'm finished with not having enough fun, right? And I am open to more activities and more experiences that are just more joyful for me, that are fun. And I don't mind taking a little risk, right? 5th house, and trying something new that's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe there's something ending for your children and a new cycle is going to be beginning. So you want to be aware of what's changing in your children's lives as well, if you have children. And again, it could be like, be open, right? Be open to whatever is entering your life over this next week specifically, but it could even linger out over the next 2 weeks. If a new person comes into your life, that might be a romantic interest, or maybe it's a new creative partner, right? Or a new creative opportunity that's being offered to you. If it feels good in your body, in your gut, then trust it. Take a risk. It will pay off, I promise. Okay, so that is for the Scorpio risings. This is happening in your 5th house. Okay, so for my Sagittarius risings, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 4th house of home and family, your childhood conditioning, your childhood experiences, and feeling at home within yourself. And so I would say with this Pisces energy, you could be feeling like something is completing in your home life, or quite literally your home space, right? Maybe you're going to be making a move. You feel like you've outgrown this home, or there's a new opportunity for your family somewhere else, and so you're literally going to be moving house. Because remember, Pisces is also about endings and completing a cycle. But this also could be quite internal energy. It could be that something within you is changing and shifting, and you're feeling more at home within your own self. And that's really beautiful energy. It could be that there is, you have you're getting more intuitive hits about things that happened in your childhood that you never really saw it in this way before. And so it's giving you the opportunity to complete and end a way of thinking about it that wasn't maybe serving you in the best way. It's maybe you are able now to have more compassion for a situation that happened when you were a kid. And so this is going to be very healing energy for you. Trust your intuition on this, whatever it is, whether it's more internal and it's from your past, or if it's more in your present reality, in your actual literal home space, or just feeling at home within yourself. Okay, so for my Sag risings, that is where this Pisces lunar eclipse is happening in your 4th house. For my Capricorn risings, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is showing up in your 3rd house of communication. This is also the house of learning. It is the house of siblings. And this is all forms of communication, and it's also the way you think. And so this can be tied to the way you think about things, your beliefs. And so with this Pisces energy influence here, you could be ending ways of thinking or limiting beliefs because now you're seeing them from a higher perspective. It's that beautiful unity perspective that Pisces holds, that higher spiritual perspective where you can see it from not such a personal place, but from the place where, oh, now I can see why this had to play out the way it did. And so this can be showing up very much in your thinking and your mind and the thoughts that you're having this week. And this could very directly be connected to your siblings if you have them, or, not at all. It could really be just the way you're communicating. Maybe you're done with certain ways of communicating and you're ready to let that go because Pisces is about endings, right? Or it could be even that you are tapping into those higher levels of communication, right? Your psychic abilities, because Pisces is all about that. Tapping into the spiritual realms. Your intuition is your communication with your higher self. And so that could be really strong for you at this lunar eclipse. Your intuition could be on fire and you're getting all of the signs and the synchronicities. The universe is 3rd house communicating with you, Capricorn risings. And so just be open. Be open to receiving all of the signs and the synchronicities and the divine messages. Because remember, Mercury rules the 3rd house and Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So be open to receiving all the messages from your higher self at this time of this lunar eclipse in your 3rd house. Now, for my Aquarius rising people, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 2nd house. The 2nd house is all about the money that you make. It is also about your value, your own value and your own worth, but also it's about your values, like what you value in life. But very literally, I guess, and materially, this could be an ending to the way that you're making money. It could be a completion because you're ready for that next level. And so you might already have been sensing intuitively that this was going to be changing for you. And so I'm here to tell you that you're right on time. Trust those intuitive feelings. Trust those new people, places, offers that are coming in for you now, because it could be a new way that is presenting itself to you that you're going to be making money. Now, that doesn't mean that like you're going to get fired from your job, right? There's no need to fear this. My guess is that if you're listening to this, you are already aware that there's something on your future timeline that you've already been thinking about in terms of the way you make money, your job, your position, whatever that is. And you know that there are going to be some changes down the pike that you're wanting, that you are looking forward to. And so I'm here to tell you that that could even just be a conversation that you have with your boss, and you say, listen, I just wanted to put it out there that if an opening shows up in XYZ department, I would really be interested in that. Okay? It could literally be something just like that. A conversation with someone about that next level that you're getting prepped for, right? That your higher self is guiding you towards in the way that you're going to be making money in the near future. Okay? It's also going to play out. This to me is really tied to it. It's not separate, because knowing that you can advocate for yourself to more money or that next position or that next level that you're ready for is very much tied into knowing your own worth and valuing yourself and the work that you put in and what you bring, right? And so it's all tied together in that you are ready now for that next level because you value yourself. You know your worth and you know what you bring to the table. So that could very much be how it plays out for you as well. Trust your intuition that if something seems like it might be ending, don't fret, don't worry, because I'm telling you something beautiful is coming down the pike for you as well. Just trust. It's only going to be baby steps right now, so there's no need to fear. Okay? That's my Aquarius risings. This is happening in your second house. Now, of course, for my Pisces rising people, this is happening in your first house, right? The first house is all about you. This Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is the first step on a path that you are going to be embarking on that is going to be changing you, evolving you, growing you over the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years. By the end of this axis in Pisces and Virgo in 2027, you are going to be truly a different version of yourself. You will have embarked upon adventures and experiences. You are going to be evolving at a rapid pace at the core of who you are, of how you see yourself, of how you interact with others. In every facet of your life, really, truly, is going to be leveling up, is going to be growing in beautiful, expansive ways, because the North Node is in your sign, the sign of your rising sign, your first house, which is all about you. And so this is going to be a really beautiful lunar eclipse for you. You're going to be really opening up to deeper and higher levels of your being, of who you are, who you came here to be in this life. And so this is nothing to fear by any means. The North Node is what we're growing into. It's who we came here to be. And so on some level, although it's going to be many new experiences and new people and new offers and new situations, on a soul level, you chose this. And on a soul level, you're going to recognize the people, the places, and the things that are showing up in your experience. You're going to intuitively know, this is one of the cooperative components. No matter who they are, you're going to recognize them at a soul level. You're going to recognize that this might be significant for you. You're going to know that they are here to help you grow and evolve and really be more of your true authentic self. And so please don't go into any fear. There's nothing to fear here. This is going to be a beautiful journey of coming home to your true authentic self. You're going to connect with your higher self more and more. You're going to have more mystical experiences. Yes, there will be endings of things, but you're going to be ready for those endings. You're going to welcome those endings because you're going to just feel like it's time. And so on the other side of those endings are the beautiful new beginnings. And first and foremost, it's about you beginning a new path for yourself. And you're going to be connecting with so many beautiful components, whether that's in the forms of people or experiences or new situations. Whatever it is, it's going to grow you in the most supportive ways. So again, this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is happening for you, Pisces rising, in your first house and your sense of self. So just be open to the signs and the synchronicities. Trust your intuition because you are exactly where you need to be at this time. And it's going to be a beautiful unfolding for you all. I want to thank you all so much for listening. I am wishing you a beautiful lunation filled with all the magic and the love and the peace and the joy. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and share some of your comments with me so that I know how this is playing out for you and we can connect together in that way. And I will see you soon under the moon. Bye-bye for now.